Hey there, and welcome to episode 70 of your fun and profitable online business. This is the podcast that helps you build a business that feels as good as it looks. I'm Wendy, and I help women entrepreneurs create fun and profitable businesses using simple systems, intentional action, and a whole lot less pressure. Today, we're talking about why priorities feel so hard. Now, if you've ever felt like everything feels important, or you start things but struggle to get them to the finish line, or you feel overwhelmed trying to decide what deserves your attention, this episode's for you. We're going to talk about why priorities feel emotionally difficult, your actual capacity for what ideas need to move forward, and how to create more momentum and less overwhelm. All right, let's dig in. Now, when I first started my business, I really thought I was bad at prioritizing. I had done so well in the academic research realm. I knew how to prioritize things and move them forward. I knew how to get people to where they wanted to be in that space. But here in the business world, I'd make a plan and then I'd have something new that would pop up. It was so shiny and beautiful. So then I'd plan that one out and then another one and another and another. And each time I'd convince myself that the most recent idea was actually the most important one. Now, does this sound familiar? Maybe you decide you're going to focus on improving an offer. You know this is where your energy is going to go this quarter. Then suddenly you hear a podcast episode about how using YouTube increases leads. Now you're in the space of thinking through how to start your own YouTube channel. Then you go to a workshop on how memberships will solve all of your revenue problems. And now you're wondering if you should launch a membership. Then you see someone talking about low-cost digital products and how it brings everyone into your world. And now you're halfway through creating a spreadsheet to map out all your future digital empire needs. Meanwhile, the thing you originally decided to work on hasn't moved forward at all. Now, what I've realized is that prioritizing feels hard whenever every single idea and every single voice out there is competing for the same space in our brains. Now, if everything is living in your head, everything feels urgent. Every idea is asking for your attention at the exact same time, and that's exhausting. But there's actually something deeper happening here. A lot of entrepreneurs are carrying what I call decision debt. Decision debt is all the decisions you haven't actually made yet. They're still sitting there waiting for you. Every unfinished project, every course that you bought but haven't finished, every offer you're considering creating, every browser tab you've left open because you're going to come back to it later. They're all quietly asking your brain for attention. And eventually, that becomes really heavy. Should I do this? Should I not do that? What if this thing changes everything? What if I miss this opportunity? What if I make the wrong choice? And suddenly you're not just evaluating an idea, you're carrying the emotional weight of all the possibilities attached to it. That's why prioritizing can feel so difficult. You're not just choosing, you're carrying dozens of unresolved decisions at the exact same time. And what's really interesting is a lot of entrepreneurs assume progress comes from just doing more things. But most of the time, progress comes from staying with something long enough for it to work, long enough to learn and gather data, long enough to improve and see the results. Now, the challenge is that opportunities never stop showing up. There's always one more strategy. There's always one more platform. There's always one more offer. There's another expert telling you the thing that you should do next. And if you're not careful, you can spend more time reconsidering your priorities than actually working on any of them. And one thing I've noticed that gets tied to all of this is confusing urgency with importance. The idea that showed up this morning somehow feels more important than the strategy you've been building for the last 3 months. Look, just because something feels exciting doesn't mean it deserves your attention right now. Often the most important thing is actually the thing you've already committed to, the thing that's moving forward that needs more time. I know that's not always as fun as something new, but sustainable businesses are usually built through creating, refining, learning, repeating over and over again. That rhythm creates momentum, and momentum creates results. Now, I think another reason prioritizing feels hard is because choosing one thing may feel like we're giving up on something else or saying no to all the other possibilities. And that's really uncomfortable because we're surrounded by possibilities all the time. Every idea feels like it could be the thing. Every opportunity feels like it might lead somewhere important. So you choose one direction. And in that space, it's easy to worry about all the things you're not choosing. But here's what I've learned. Choosing one thing doesn't mean we're rejecting everything else. It usually just means not right now. And that's a very different decision. You can save an idea without acting on it. You can be excited about an opportunity without immediately turning it into a project. You can keep possibility alive without making it today's priority. Because prioritization isn't about deciding whether an idea is good or bad. It's about deciding what deserves your attention right now. And this is where capacity comes into play. The truth is, every idea is competing for the same limited resources: your time, your energy, your attention, and your decision-making capacity. And all of those things are limited. I often think about this like an airport. Airports aren't chaotic despite all the planes coming and going. It's organized because not every plane is trying to take off at the same time. There's only so much space on that runway. Some planes are parked, some are boarding, some are delayed, and some are preparing for takeoff. That's what keeps everything moving. Your business works the exact same way. The problem isn't having lots of ideas. The problem is trying to move all of them forward at once. But eventually, you're going to hit a bottleneck. You run out of time, you run out of energy, you run out of attention. And suddenly, everything is hard. The good news? You don't have to decide today if an idea is worthy. You just have to know whether you have the capacity right now to move it forward. All right, with that in mind, let's get to your action step this week. I want you to ask yourself one simple question. What's on my runway right now? This isn't what could be on your runway or what might be on your runway, not what sounds exciting to be on your runway, but what are you actively trying to move forward right now? Then, whenever a new idea pops up, notice what happens. Do you start questioning the plan you've already created? Do you start mentally trying to rearrange everything? Just notice it, because one of the biggest reasons prioritization feels hard is we keep trying to add things to our runway without considering our capacity. And sometimes the most powerful decision you can make is the realization that it's a really good idea. You're just not going to act on it right now. All right, next week we're going to build on this conversation, because once you start noticing all those ideas you're trying to move forward, the next question is if there's an easier way to manage them. And the answer is yes. We'll talk about a decision-making framework for your ideas so you're not constantly wondering what to do next. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you're realizing you don't actually have one trusted place for your ideas yet, go grab my idea parking lot at wendymuzzy.com/parking. It's the tool I created so we can stop carrying every idea around with us. Because before we can prioritize our ideas, we need a place to put them. Go grab it at wendymuzzy.com/parking. Now, I want to leave you with this thought. Prioritizing isn't about forcing yourself to ignore opportunities. It's about creating enough focus to make meaningful progress. One project, one priority, one step at a time. All right, until next week, happy building your fun and profitable business.